Tonight's case begins with a piece of dead technology that should never speak again. And yet, it does. A telegraph set cut off from the grid for half a century suddenly clicks to life, and its message drags a man into the oldest riddle of this forest. His name is Jake Riley, age 48. A dispatcher at Sequoia National Park, known for bad jokes on the air and for sleeping through every meeting. A screw-up on paper, maybe, but with one rare talent. He knew the park's past better than anyone alive. He was obsessed with the old lines, telegraph wire maps, defunct beacons, abandoned towers. People thought it was a harmless hobby. It wasn't. One quiet night, in a room full of silence, the museum piece in the corner clicked, then clicked again, then again. The Western Union unit, its cables cut back in the 60s, began tapping in the park's old fire service code. Jake, one of the last who could still read it, snatched a pencil and scratched letters along the edge of his crossword. The message was short. Fire at Peak-7. He is back, awaiting confirmation. Call sign, Hawk's Nest Tower, the same tower where his grandfather vanished in 1970. Protocol said, log the anomaly, report up the chain, wait for orders. But Jake knew if he reported a talking telegraph, they'd put him on leave by morning. He looked at the faded team photo on the wall, Rangers from the 70s, and there was his grandfather, smiling, young, unbroken by the mountain. Legends spoke of Peak-7, strange lights, and an echo that sometimes repeats words spoken years before. This wasn't a glitch. This was a summons. He wrote in the logbook, false smoke alarm, Sector 12, going to check. A lie. He pocketed the keys to his old pickup, took his radio, and headed not to Sector 12, but straight toward Peak-7. By morning, they found his Dodge Ram at the mouth of a disused trail. Engine cold, doors locked, passenger seat, thermos, crossword radio, everything ordinary.
The easy theory? The unreliable guy went for a lone stroll on a closed route, twisted an ankle, got lost. No one mentioned the truck's radio, tuned not to any station, but to a blank frequency, humming a thin, steady sheet of white noise. Trackers picked up his footprints, clean, steady impressions leading uphill along the overgrown path. No panic, no stumbles. He walked like a man who knew where he was going. After about a mile, the trail opened onto a small, perfectly level clearing padded with pine needles. And then, silence among experts. Jake's prints marched to the middle of that clearing and simply stopped. No smudge, no turn. One last perfect heel and toe in the needles, and then flat, untouched carpet beyond. No other human tracks, no animal tracks, no signs of a struggle. A man walking, and then a man not walking. The county sheriff pulled an old, dust-choked file. Thomas Riley, 1970. A fire lookout who vanished under similar circumstances from the Hawk's Nest Tower at Peak-7. He signed off in the evening, all clear. By morning, he never came down. Crew reached the tower, door locked from the inside, duty log open, pen beside it, coffee mug cooling on the table. No Thomas. Case closed as accident, though no one could explain how an accident walks through a locked door from the inside. A second pass through Jake's truck changed everything. In the glove box, under a stack of old maps, they found a metal canteen, scratched Army issue, with initials engraved T.R. Thomas Riley. The family confirmed it. The same canteen that vanished with his grandfather in 1970. The canteen was empty, but not dusty, as if someone had used it recently. Jake's co-workers filled in the rest. His obsession wasn't a hobby, it was an investigation. He rebuilt the dispatch telegraph against orders. He scanned dead air at night. He was looking for his grandfather.
He believed there had been a communications anomaly that night in the 70s, and that his grandfather tried to send a signal no one could understand. Jake wanted to catch the echo of it. The joke people said was on them. Because he did. He wasn't prey. He was the hunter, who walked straight into his own snare. The canine unit followed his scent from the truck, steady up the trail. At the edge of the clearing, every dog froze and whimpered, pressing against their handlers, refusing to step into the center where the tracks ended. "Not loss of scent," the handler said. "A barrier. Like an invisible wall, like a chemical reek or an infrasound pulse." But the instruments showed nothing. In the 1970 search, dogs refused to climb the lookout stairs. Same fear, same stop, same void. While the teams combed the valley, the dispatch center hiccuped. Radios dropped out specifically around Peak-7. GPS units shoved crews off course. One ranger called in, "Got a problem. I'm hearing Martians, like cooing code." Analysis found a faint, chaotic signal on several frequencies, Morse-like, but impossible to decode. It flickered and died. Techs blamed the sky, but the glitch only lived inside that search grid. On day 3, an old man walked into the sheriff's office. Former ranger. He had seen the news footage and recognized the place. In 1972, during the search for Thomas Riley, he and his partner saw a strange man in the trees, wearing outdated clothes, not regulation. He stood by a telegraph pole and stared. When they moved toward him, he stepped behind a tree and vanished. They never filed it. Too tired, too embarrassed. The clothing he described? It matched what Jake wore on the day he disappeared. Impossible. And yet, investigators rechecked Jake's effects. A handheld recorder lay in his pack. He used it constantly to capture notes. The unit was on, the tape was rolling, but the cassette was empty. 90 minutes of nothing. Not even cabin hum, not even breath. Forensics said the device worked. The tape was clean. "This isn't erasure," the tech said. "There isn't even a magnetic shadow of a spinning motor. It's like the second he hit record, the concept of sound stopped existing around the mic." Searchers began reporting patches of unnatural silence near Peak-7. You walk, twigs crunch underfoot, birds chatter, then you step into vacuum. Your partner's lips move 10 yards away, and you hear nothing. It lasts a minute, maybe 2. Then the world snaps back on. These mute zones drifted, appearing and vanishing, but always inside the search square. Hunters in the canyon had told the same stories for decades. No science on the books could hold it. On day 9, when hope was thinning, a team found Jake's knife, buried point first in an old telegraph pole in that clearing. His favorite blade. Custom handle he carved himself. But the find was wrong. The pole had been searched dozens of times. The knife hadn't been there. It was spotless. No soil, no rust, despite days of rain. And, on the blade, etched with something sharp, not the year. The handwriting wasn't Jake's. The taunt rerouted the case to the grandfather's file. Photos from Hawk's Nest in 1970, enhanced grain on the desk's leg beside the duty log, revealed a faint scratched message. Not the voice. 2 phrases, 34 years apart, bound by one place and one family. Not the voice over a radio that night. Not the year in the clearing that swallowed the grandson. The routine theories broke and fell away. Abduction? Who takes a man from the center of a needle-soft floor without a trace, and then drops evidence inside a sealed search perimeter on schedule, like cues in a play? Accident? Impossible. Jake was skilled, the clearing flat and clean. Voluntary disappearance? He didn't run from anything. He ran toward it, the riddle that owned his bloodline. Which leaves the version no protocol wants. Both men collided with an anomaly that mocks physics and speaks through old machines and lives outside time. Off the record, one word kept surfacing: performance. Not chaos, a script. The grandfather's canteen in the truck, the knife in the pole, the scratch on the desk. Each prop appears when the search stalls, nudging the audience along. Not to hide the truth, but to reveal it as a riddle, a rebus with no clean answer. Digging into Peak-7's history turned up more missing seekers. A geologist in the 1950s chasing uranium veins. 2 hippies in the 1960s chasing power lines in the earth. Thomas Riley chasing radio interference. Jake Riley chasing the truth. Not random tourists, people who listen too hard. This place, whatever it is, responds to that. It lures with the thing you seek, and then it takes you, leaving only silence and an unsolvable knot. Jake Riley's case remains open, officially missing, unofficially unfinished. A year later, to the night, a new dispatcher, young, first week on shift, looked up at the museum piece in the corner as it began to tap. He couldn't read Morse. He just logged strange clicks, possible short. He didn't know the message was only 3 words. He is back. So the question is yours. Is this the work of a person, someone staging a perfect recursive theater of disappearance? Or is Peak-7 itself an intelligence, an old machine in the woods, resetting the same scene again and again, choosing a new listener each time?